The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone!
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention when you were just talking to me. Do you think that you could repeat the question and I listen more attentively?
Wait a minute, you're not Tom Duggan.
He's not? I have to go.
Yeah, I did not sign up for this, sir. There we are. We're online. We're live, people.
Live now?
Yeah. We've been live the whole time. Everyone's just been wondering what we're doing. Tom normally shares the show and does all that fun stuff while we do this. One lot of bop. We got it.
I can't try. You gonna do them?
I'll do them.
Buzz?
Yeah, here it comes.
I like Chrissy did buzz.
Here it comes. Pretty simple. Ba-ba-ba-ba. You did it, see?
Not as good as Tom.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
All right, let's do it.
All right, how you all doing? My name is David Consolli. I know, I can't say it like Tom does.
Didn't know if you were checking for validation on that one.
Sitting in for Tom S. Duggan at the Paying Attention Podcast, high atop the Studio One Podcast Cafe. Today we have a special guest, Jana Zanni Pesce, who is running for Methuen City Council. But before we get to Jana, I have a couple things to say about our dear friend Tom Duggan, who I'm filling in today. So we're going to wish Tom a very speedy recovery. Right now, Tom is in the ICU unit at Lawrence General Hospital with a double pneumonia. He reached out to me when he was admitted and asked me to fill in for him. So we are hoping that Tom has a speedy recovery. And in the interim, you folks are going to be stuck with me for a couple weeks. So we'll do the best we can patching this together. I'm not as charismatic as Tom, but I think we'll be okay.
I think we'll do it justice.
Yes, and Chrissy's holding my hand, right? Through this whole thing.
Yes.
I have the best producer on the face of the earth.
There you go.
All right, to my left and to your right, we have Methuen Councilor at Large candidate Jana Zanni Pesce. Did I say that correctly?
You're close enough. I say Zanni Pesce, and I only say that because it's the proper Italian pronunciation.
Oh, okay.
And funny story, actually, my dad was a Zanni until he was like 21 years old. And he came home and he had an Italian class in college or something. And he sat the family down and he said, we're pronouncing our name incorrectly. So out there's some Zannis, and then there's a whole bunch of Zannis still flowing out there that are his cousins. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Well, you and I had never met, and I appreciate you coming in on such short notice.
But I knew who you were.
You knew who I was. I was telling the story. I had the good fortune of sitting with your parents at the bash in March. And I am a big fan of your husband. He is a character. I mean, I spent quite a few hours chatting with him. And if I had time, I'd do a DNA test because I think we're related.
Oh, you can take him anytime you want.
We're two peas in a pod. So I want to talk a little bit about your background. You're a business owner. You're a co-owner of the Zanni Pesce law firm.
I am. Well, let me back it up even further because I've been here my whole life.
Okay, great.
I grew up on the West End. I am born and bred in Methuen.
Me too.
I started my practice here, Zanni Pesce Law Office, right on Merrimack Street in Methuen. My husband and I have been there for about 15 years. now.
Great. What type of law do you guys practice?
So I do personal injury, which is mostly car accidents, slip and fall, dog bites. Vinny does real estate, closings, and that sort of stuff, and he does bankruptcy. So, and then we do the little stuff that every lawyer's office does, wills and trusts and that sort of stuff, or something small but those are really our specialties.
Yeah, I talked to Matt McClellan yesterday. He's going to try to come on the next couple of weeks. Is the real estate side slow down for you folks? The closings?
So that's really Vinny's area of expertise. But yes, I always say he does real estate and bankruptcy because it's almost on like a seesaw. And you can almost get a gauge for what the market's doing when the bankruptcies start to tip up. And the bankruptcies, it's not a negative stigma the way it was years ago. Back in the day, people were so ashamed, if bankruptcy was such a big deal and I made all these mistakes. It's not like that, and it certainly wasn't like that the last time the market crashed. It was like regular people who got behind on maybe one particular payment. Maybe they had a sickness, or maybe they had something go wrong in their life and they just can't catch up. And unfortunately, a lot of these debts just snowball.
Yeah.
In bankruptcy now, with all the new laws, it really expunges a lot of that and gives these people like a fresh start. But we have been seeing an uptick in the bankruptcies recently versus, let's say, 4 or 5 months ago. People would call, they'd inquire about it, and then they'd say, you know what, I'm going to try to catch up. Now it's like, no, I need to do it.
No, the reason why I ask, I've owned Pleasant Valley Landscape for 36 years, and we're coming off some pretty brisk sales after COVID. The residential market kind of blew up, and people were spending money like crazy. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback, and our receivables are starting to age right now. So I'm seeing something that I saw in 07.
Yeah, I think it's coming. I don't think it's as imminent as people think it is. I think it's going to take a little bit. Yeah. But no, I agree with you. And things, like 4 months ago even, and I'm sure Matt will tell you when he comes on, you couldn't get it on fast enough. My neighbor's house was listed at 6 o'clock, one showing by 7, and sold for I think it was $50,000 over ask within an hour.
Yeah, one of the things that I found fascinating was people were waiving home inspections, which, if you're spending $500,000 or $1.2 million on the biggest investment of your life, why aren't you getting that inspected?
With escalation clauses.
Yeah. So I've never seen an environment like that. It was kind of scary. So we have to transition into your run for city council. That's why I'm here, and Tom asked me to come in because I have been courted by a couple people, asked me to run for city council. I did a little bit of research. I was a little concerned that it might be a little over my skis.
I don't believe it. I think you should.
No, and I don't think I have the temperament. So you're in it. You pulled papers.
I did.
My whole family signed for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
They got to vote for me, too.
Yes, they will. You'll have the entire Italian population in the valley near Piero's Bakery.
Fabulous.
I tell my parents who's running, and my father will look and go, "Oh, she's Italian. Okay." so you have the Italian vote. So why at this point in time? I know you were on the school committee. Were you on the committee when that whole Judy Scannell thing came out? Was that afterwards?
No, interestingly enough, I've had a pretty exciting 6 years on the school committee. Within a month, it was February of my first term, was when that whole $4 million debacle happened. It's funny because the council now is pushing for an audit, but they did one. And it was not anything that the school committee did. It was mismanagement by some of the departments and the previous superintendent. When they cut the budget, the superintendent previously kept people in those positions. So they did a full audit, and then there were grants that were never spent, SPED grants. I don't remember the exact numbers.
So is it technically $4 million missing?
It wasn't missing. It was mismanaged.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because I've sat here and watched Tom for 4 years or whatever the time frame is say there's $4 million missing. No one's investigating. No one's looked into it.
No, they did a full audit, and people can grab that audit. And it's funny. I think I came on the show. My recollection obviously isn't as good as it was, 6 years ago. But I remember coming on with the audit to Tom's show, and we did do a show on it.
So the $4 million was mismanaged.
That's the best word I would use. And it was unfortunate. And then right after that, the whole thing with Judy Scannell happened, I was one of the 2 school committee members who voted to have her terminated. And it wasn't a personal decision for me. I likened it to my law degree. And I said, listen, everyone, reiterated what a good job she did. But as an attorney, you need a license. And if you practice law, no matter how good you are, and no matter what I do for you in that capacity as a would-be attorney, if I'm not licensed, I would go to jail. So for me, it was really principle. It wasn't a personal decision, but I think...
No, I agree with that. If I can put my Tom Duggan hat on for a minute, I'm not a fan.
No, and
I had a couple interactions when my children were going through the schools with Judy Scandal, I call her. I'm not a fan, and I don't like bullies. She was a bully as far as I'm concerned, but I was not happy that she got a golden parachute as a taxpayer. I was not happy that she got a golden parachute, but she should have been terminated. That's just my opinion.
And I don't want to mislead you either, because a lot of the public thinks that my vote would have taken away her pension, right? It wouldn't have.
Oh, really?
No. Had we all voted, and this was kind of why I wanted them to vote to terminate, it's only the retirement board that could do that. But had we voted to terminate her the way I thought she should be terminated, it would have provoked the retirement board looking into whether or not she'd be entitled to that pension. So it was one step closer, but people on the board wouldn't even take that step because it was an unpopular one.
It was an unpopular one.
Yep, and it was myself and Jana Di Natale at the time.
One of my favorite people in the world.
Mine too, mine too.
So I don't want to harp on this too long, but how does someone like that go that long without having a license?
In Methuen? If it were anywhere else. I don't know. I think it was a lot of missteps. She did have a temporary waiver. So this does happen, right? People get hired for a job, and then they have so many years, maybe a year or two, whatever it is, to get that license. Unfortunately, in Methuen, if you do a good job, nobody follows up. So the good thing that came out from all of this is I think every time, that good old boys network of having no accountability fails, the newer group of people are putting things in place that will ensure that doesn't happen again. And it's funny because everyone we've hired this far, okay, are they properly licensed? Do we have a license? Do we have a copy of their license? Like it's very, and you'll hear me every meeting from the onset. And listen, all of these political gigs are, you learn as you go. You really do. No matter how much you think you know getting in, you learn as you go. And
that's what scared me.
No, you'd be great.
I feel like I'd be a newbie. Got to do a lot of homework. So that's a perfect that's a perfect segue into run for council now. Okay?
Is it though? I don't think that wasn't my segue.
It's my segue.
Okay.
So, but new blood in the council. Okay, we've had a couple people that are terming out. Okay, and a couple people that aren't running for re-election. Yeah. And in my opinion, we do need some new blood. So why now? Now's the time that you decided I'm going to jump in. And at large, by the way, too, not on the East End. So
yeah, I went back and forth with that one. At the end of the day, I grew up in the West End, and I still have a lot of ties to the West End. My family's still there. My friends growing up are still there. I really feel attached to Methuen as a whole. And I know I live in the East End and I have my business in the East End. But I really do feel attached to Methuen as a whole. Why now? That's an interesting question.
Well, we recently became friends, and I went on your profile. Your husband's really nice. You got 3 beautiful children. I'm sure how old are your kids?
My oldest is starting high school. He's 14. My middle son is, he just started 6th grade yesterday. And my little girl is starting 2nd grade, so she's 8.
So you have your hands full.
I do, but they're fantastic.
No, that's fine. But you have your hands full. You're self-employed. You have a business that you're running. You have 3 young children that are, going to school. And this is going to take up some of your personal time. I do know that your husband's on the zoning board. He's still on, and he does a great job. So that takes time away from the family. So you must feel compelled to run at this point in time?
Yeah, it's the busiest time in my life, but I also feel like it's the most important time in my life to do it, because this is when my family's going to feel everything that would happen, right? Would be affected by the decisions that are made by local government. So, if you think of people just starting out, maybe they haven't felt the crunch of taxes, or they haven't felt, gripes with the school system or whatever. And you think of older retired residents of Methuen, they're done, right? They kind of, so it's kind of that midsection, I think, that has the most to gain from whatever happens that are going to be most affected by what happens in the city. So I do feel compelled to run. I do think that the council as a whole needs to be reeled in a little bit.
You think?
I am
a
taxpayer, maybe not as big of one as you are.
No, that's not necessary.
But I have I have my house here. I have my business here. I own property in Methuen. I am a lifer like you. We are very affected by the decisions that are made. And
I'm concerned. I've been concerned for a while, if I may interject.
Sure.
I've been concerned for
when you
invest. I guess it is. When you invest the kind of money that you and I have, owning multiple properties, having a business in Methuen, and I've talked to Tom about this in private. I'm confused. When things go down with the Joe Solomon thing, I don't know Joe Solomon from Boo, right? I don't know if he's a good guy, a bad guy, if like the Greg Gallant decision that just came down.
Yeah.
I read things that say that this guy's the biggest criminal ever, and then I read a decision that says, no, he was wronged. I'm not qualified. I mean,
but you are.
But it's very confusing to me because there's this back and forth. It seems like, Tom comes on the show and says, well, the budget is bigger now than when Solomon was chief. And then there's other facts that come out. I look at the budget. It says, no, it's smaller. So I don't know what to believe. It's like there's a lot of confusion as a regular Joe.
Yeah.
And to me, as a taxpayer who has this kind of, tie to Methuen, it's very, very concerning. I mean, do I want to move out of the city? Not really. I'm rooted here. So
how I feel, yeah.
Yeah, and my wife gave me the crooked eyeball when I said I was thinking of, running for city council. She's like, are you crazy? So
it's pretty thankless. And I think in some ways I'm not a great politician.
That's perfect.
If anybody watches any of the meetings, in general, whether you watch council, school committee, politicians are very good at credentialing themselves, right? Very good at touting their own accomplishments, right? I, as an attorney, I feel like I'm very concise. I say what I need to say, and I move on. And I like to do things behind the scene. If I do something, and the parents who I've worked with, people I've worked with, anyone that's had a concern, I've always tried to resolve it. They know, and I know. I don't need to say it publicly. I don't need to say it at every meeting.
Well, there's a lot of that going on, Jana. Like, one of my pet peeves is I'll use like Mike Simard. Mike Simard's nice enough guy, but I'd watch the meetings, and Jessica would go on this long, topic and give her a point, and then they'd recognize Councilor Simard, and he'd say, "I just want to reiterate," and then they would go to Councilor Saber, and he'd say, "Oh, I just want to reiterate," and I'm like, "Okay, why are we sitting here for 4 hours and everyone's saying the same thing over and over again?" And as someone who was thinking of going on there, I was like, "Oh my God, this is like taking forever." And then you have someone like Allison Safi, who doesn't say much. She does her work, and and then she puts in her vote. And that's kind of like what I want. My friend Dave Abdu was the president. I mean, he's a lifelong friend of mine, and I'm very, very close with him. He was the president of the Lawrence City Council, who I consulted on this, and he thought I'd be great too. I said, yeah, I can have my head examined. But Dave told me a lot of times, you get the packet, and you know exactly what's going to happen ahead of time. You know how you're going to vote. A lot of this is posturing.
It all is.
And I have no patience for that. I am a tell it like it is kind of guy. I'd be telling people to bleep off in a public meeting, and I can't do that.
You might see me doing that, just for the record.
I think I found a new BFF here.
So even at some of the school committee meetings, I try, but sometimes I and we're, there, I actually love my fellow colleagues. I get along with each and every one of them. But there are times, I think we all get frustrated with that.
So my next question to you, I had a bunch of notes here. My next question to you is topics. What is the biggest concern or the biggest item that you want to tackle on the city council? Is it the budget, the certain departments that are in flux, or what do you think is the biggest issues that the city faces that you want to get your hands on?
I'm going to say something really unconventional because, like I said, everything is a learning. What word was I saying? Learning curve. Thank you. But, obviously the budget is probably my major concern. I am fiscally very conservative. I have been on the school committee for 6 years and I will continue that. However, it is a learning curve. And already as a candidate, I've been reached out to by residents, looking into different things that maybe weren't a big concern of mine, but might become one. So I'm hesitant to say exactly what my agenda is because part of what I think is wrong with Methuen is politicians in general, and I don't want to single anyone out, they fixate. They go in there with a specific reason and a specific political agenda, be it personal, for personal reasons, a vendetta, wanting to get to the next level, whatever. And this is what they fixate on. And I think this is the problem. Methuen needs to get away with personal agendas. They need to do away with that. I have my opinion. I might think I am correct. But guess what? I'm only one vote, and I'm supposed to be representative of everybody. So I have to be reasonable. I have to deviate from my own position if I think it's for the betterment of the majority, right? And people in general, politicians in Methuen, have had a very difficult time doing that, I think.
Yeah, and that's why Neil got so much pushback when he first got in, because he wasn't a politician. He wanted to change things, and I think he's doing. I think he's doing a good job. I mean, the city's on a much better trajectory than it was when he started in 2019. And I find him very approachable, and I'll share a story that happened the last couple of weeks. We had in my industrial park on Old Ferry Road, we had some major rainstorms, and the road kept washing out. And myself and Torromeo Trucking, we were out there clearing the road 6 times. And finally, all the business owners got together and said, we got to do something. So I reached out to Neil, and to his credit, man, I tell you, we had every single business owner in the industrial park show up at this meeting at my place. And Neil showed up with the chief of police, the city engineer, all the department heads, promised us some road improvements. They had some money that they had put aside, and that's the kind of government that we want. And I told Neil, I said, we're not looking for an instant solution. We just want a plan. And I don't care if it's a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, because I drive around the city, man, I tell you, the roads are terrible. A lot of potholes. I mean, the DPW does do a great job.
Had a couple calls about that already.
Yeah, and just, most cities and towns, I mean, it's hard to get help. We're all in the same boat. But I feel that the roads, as much as they try to keep up with it, Methuen DPW does a great job.
Yeah.
That C-Clicks Fix thing that Jana turned me on to, I've used it multiple times. They come right out. There's a measure of some accountability when they say, okay, we took the report, the thing has been fixed. It's really good. In the old days, you had to call the DPW, and it might get lost in the cracks or it might not get done. But I think they do a good job. But we're looking, as a citizen and as a business owner, I think what we were looking for is a government that's approachable. We're not looking for miracles. We're not looking for instant fixes, but we want people like you that are approachable.
Or the political facade, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Neil, when he ran, proved that. I think coming from a private sector background, and he really attacks things and has from that perspective. And I think that's why things get done for the most part.
Yeah, and it's really refreshing. I feel kind of bad when I watch some of these meetings where they all just pile on him.
Yeah.
And everyone's, trying to.
But that's the politics. That's what you said. Because remember, you do have those agendas ahead of time. There are so many of those items that could have been clarified with a call. And even on the school committee, I'll do that. I'll reach out to whoever I need to reach out to. Hey, is this what this is saying? No? all right, that's not what happened there? Okay. Nothing has to be said, right? I got clarification behind the scenes, as opposed to announcing it and making this big spectacle over something that's really nothing and driving this political narrative to be something else, which is what you experienced with the police contract.
With when a constituent approaches a counselor and says, I don't know, I got a problem with a telephone pole or something strange, the counselors seem to make it political. And they, instead of just reporting it to the correct department,
you don't need to announce it at the meeting.
No, I know. And it's like, if you call a counselor and say, I have a sewer cap or something that's been loose and my car is getting damaged and DPW is not responding, you call the city council, or the council is supposed to be there for constituent services.
Yeah.
So a couple phone calls, maybe grease the wheels a little bit, or the skids, or whatever the phrase is, instead of going into a city council meeting and, like you said, grandstanding. That really turns me off. It really does.
And I think that's why a lot of people don't watch the meetings, and that's unfortunate, because I wish we had more public participation at council meetings, at school committee meetings. You get once in a while these heated topics, and the room is filled. And then as soon as that meeting's done, it goes back to just crickets.
Yeah, and there was a big uproar about the police contract and some other issues, and I'm looking at voter turn. I mean, Neil Perry won at 71% his first term, but voter turnout has been abysmal.
That's true across the country, though.
Absolutely abysmal. But when you have these hot topic items, and even with the school committee, I was reading an article on the Eagle Tribune the other day. There's 5 people running for 6 spots. How does that happen?
Nobody wants to do it. It's thankless. And you know what? There's a lot of negativity on social media that can feel very, very real to people who are experiencing it. You'll never see me getting into battle on social media. My presence is actually pretty minimal, and it's deliberate. I'm not a social media junkie. I don't believe in it. I don't believe that it's representative of what's truly out there. You have the same group of a dozen people spinning the same narrative, supporting their same agendas, and again, it feels really real to that person who's on the other receiving end of some of these negative comments.
Yeah, Chrissy, didn't we talk about this a couple weeks ago with Lisa Williams when we talked about one of the candidates had put Neil Perry up there dressed as a clown with makeup and a big nose and stuff like that. And I can't stand that stuff.
Imagine if that were your dad or your cousin or your brother.
I use social media, kind of lighthearted, pictures of the family, pictures of friends, things that we do, and I like to share jokes and things of that nature. But I don't like to get into the politics. I forgot at the top of the show to thank our sponsors.
Oh, that's
okay. So can I do that now?
Oh, Tom's watching. Yeah. Tom's watching. So
is he PMing me from his hospital bed? All right. So our sponsors are McLennan Real Estate, Century 21, Matt McLennan. I spoke to Matt yesterday. We're going to try to get him on in the next week or so, and we're going to talk about this ever-changing real estate market. There's a lot going on. I think that with interest rates hovering around 7, what we're seeing is people that want to downsize, are locked into a 2.5% mortgage and don't want to go into something at 7%.
They're going to pay more.
And the same thing with people that are upsizing too. It's like I'm going to sit on the sidelines. So that's kind of.
And if you have extra time, you should talk to him about his Facebook posts. They're delicious.
Oh, are they?
Do you ever see his Facebook posts? No. He's like a foodie. It's
awesome.
He a foodie? I love looking at his posts.
Look, do I need to eat any more? Please, let's not go there. Marsan and Son Construction, Ronnie Marsan, he was on last week. He's running for East End. He's a really good guy. He's got a great reputation. EIS investigation and gun training. The Doug Mercurio Law Office in Prime Real Estate. Borelli's Deli. Do we have the sandwich of the day? They didn't send that in, did they? Because is Tom usually responsible for that? Okay.
He usually gets it. Yeah. So.
I don't go to Borelli's at all. You know why?
I do. Why?
How could you?
I won't go there for anything. You know why?
Why?
My mother lives right across the street.
Oh.
You'd be
It's
in big
cheaper.
trouble.
We don't buy
He says it's
sausage. We
cheaper,
don't buy
folks.
eggplant. It's awesome. It's my mother.
He's afraid.
She'll be there. She'll be there with the wooden spoon
She'll be
chasing
tapping
after
on the
you.
window as he gets out of the car.
That explains a lot. I've had a lot of concussions in the 70s. My mother hitting me with that wooden spoon.
The educator.
I have
Boy.
My kids say, Dad, why do you forget things? I'm like, I have CTE from when I was younger.
Oh, my goodness.
Tomo and Shaken Seafood, Clear Path for Veterans New England, AFC Urgent Care, Lisa Williams. She's opening up that new facility in Haverhill in the next few weeks. My company, Pleasant Valley Landscape Contractors, I want a big shout out to my son, Michael Consoli, for covering for me today, and he's probably going to be covering for me the next couple weeks as I try to fill in for Tom. It was a little hairy getting here today. We had to pull the old tow truck out. And I'm like, oh my God, imagine if I would have stiffed you. Oh God, that would have been awful. Stacks in Par 28, loaded in the Zanni Pesce. Did I say that right?
Sure.
Zanni Pesce Law Office with the nicest people.
We're getting
ever.
closer every time.
And a free shout out to my friend, Dave DiNatale at W3 On. I was unavailable this week and he was working on some technical issues with my wife. And once again, he bailed me out. So we only have a few minutes left. I want to do this new feature with you young ladies.
Okay.
Called the lightning round. I have some questions for you. So we're going to get. So you have the bell already?
No, you
have the bell.
You bumped it.
No, I didn't know if you had the lightning.
Oh. No, we scrapped the lightning. The bell's
we
way
did.
better.
Okay. So question number 1.
Okay. It's great.
Favorite aisle in Market Basket. Go.
Oh, my God, that's hard.
Hurry up.
Wow.
Yogurt?
Yogurt. Oh, mine's chips.
Ice
Across the
cream.
board.
Ice cream for me.
Oh.
Favorite M&M.
Oh.
Brown was discontinued.
Brown, really?
Wrote like a senior thesis on it.
Oh my God. The mini ones. I don't care what color.
I like
the
the
little bitty.
I like. A lot of people would say peanut. I like the pretzel ones.
No, you said color.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, he just said favorite.
Favorite
You
M&M
said
flavor.
favorite.
I'm
You
sorry.
said flavor.
I'm
Did
sorry.
you say color? We're gonna put that back.
Okay, we're gonna pull that back. All right, what is it?
Caramel would be my favorite flavor. When they get a
Really?
little warm, like if you leave them in the car,
That's a
which I've
mess.
done. No, they're delicious. The hard outside still stays, so they're like oozy inside.
I'm a disaster as it is. I
I'm gonna
can't
buy
eat
something and
those.
leave him in my car now.
I'll bring you some next time, especially if he doesn't bring you cookies.
I know. How dare he?
All right. Snakes, mice, or spiders? What freaks you out the most?
Snakes.
None. I'm from Australia. I have zero problem with any of them.
Really, I'm gonna say snakes as well. Okay, imported or domestic beer?
Imported.
None. I don't like beer.
You don't
And I'm
like
from
beer?
Australia, so there you go. That throws me way out. I think I
thought
just got.
for sure you would say. I put this in there for you. I thought for sure you'd say
What are you gonna
imported
say,
Australian
Foster?
beer.
Yeah, no. Ginger
Yeah.
beer, sure,
Yeah.
but no, I'm not a beer person.
I'm not a beer person either, and I can't drink wine.
Oh,
Well, I'm
really?
learning to. I'm
we
getting
can't
really
be
good
friends
at it.
now.
All right, quick story. When I was 14 years old, I drank a whole gallon of wine at Thanksgiving.
The gallo. What was
The cheap shit, yeah. So
the one that had
did I just swear?
It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
The one that had the wicker on the bottom.
14 years old. I threw up for a week. I can't stand the smell of wine to this day. 40-something years
Yeah.
later, I cannot drink wine.
And I can't stop my husband from trying to get you to try his homemade wine.
Oh my
so
God!
good
no.
luck with
Yeah,
that.
all right, I can't hang out with him. Regular or double stuffed Oreos?
Double.
Double.
I'm a regular chocolate. I like the double chocolate. The regular ones.
chocolate on chocolate?
Chocolate on chocolate. Boy, I'm an anomaly here.
You are.
All right, favorite snack? Ice cream or potato chips? If you could only have one for the rest of your life.
Ice cream.
I think I'd kill myself. Straight. I like both. I can't pick.
You have to pick.
It's like Sophie's Choice. I'll cry. It's terrible. I couldn't do it. No, I can't. I refuse.
All right.
I plead the fifth.
You're
I won't.
fired. I'm going to go with potato chips. There's nothing like a good potato chip, though.
But then
I
right
don't
after
know.
you have some ice cream and it's like, oh my God, the sweet.
Right,
with
the two
savory.
together. I
Yeah,
agree.
oh
All right.
my goodness.
Beach or lake?
Beach.
Lake.
Lake for me.
No, beach.
Yeah,
Too
lake
much
for me.
sand.
You have a lake house.
With the DiNatales.
I don't do
There you
sand
go.
where I come from. If you go to the beach, things will literally kill you. So,
All right.
although in the lake they will too. Go for it.
Other than Massachusetts, in the continental 48, what other state could you see yourself living in?
Connecticut.
It's so
Really?
expensive. Oh, you're wealthy anyways.
Oh, yeah, not like you.
No, I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. Not like you.
Yeah,
Connecticut's expensive.
I visited North Carolina last year, and it was beautiful.
You like
I
North Carolina?
really liked it. It was gorgeous. Yeah.
I'm not going far.
What
I'm
about
going to
you?
say New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire.
Well, I'm
for
from
something.
New Hampshire,
Really?
so
I
figured I can't pick where I'm from.
Maybe a little bit
Connecticut
further.
has a high Italian population too, just for the record.
I drove through there once. Nothing was open, and
Yeah,
it
that's right. That
wasn't
is true.
late
It's
at
near
night.
New York.
It is near, but I
New
couldn't do
York.
New York.
Okay.
That's kind of
All right. Best month of the year.
October.
February.
I'm going to say July. And please expand on that. Why October?
It's my birthday and I love fall.
February's my birthday. It's cold, but
Oh, come
I
on,
stick
we're
with
all
my birthday.
Well, what's yours? What'd you say?
I like July. I like it warm. I hate winter.
Yeah, but I travel.
I'm
so
an old fart. I just don't like winter anymore. I just don't know
You
what
got
it
to travel
is.
in the winter. You landscape. You can go away.
Yeah, go landscape in Florida.
I hope my wife's not watching this.
Do you want to go away? You're not taking your wife away?
We're going somewhere, but Jana wants us to go to the Olympics in Paris together.
I've heard that one already.
I'd rather
Yeah.
hang myself.
Right.
I'm not going
We got
to
more
the Olympics.
questions?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We got a couple of minutes, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
Favorite sports team?
Celtics.
I'm not from this country, and I don't like sports that much. How can I go against the Patriots? Come on. Woo, New England.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Patriots as well. You're a big basketball family?
No, we're football and basketball, but recently my oldest son is obsessed with basketball, so we started going to games and stuff.
Oh, really?
And it's just so much easier. Like the Patriots games we go to.
Yeah, that's too hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. All right. Best concert you've ever attended?
Dave Matthews 11 times
11 times?
in college. Yeah.
You're gonna hate my answer.
Wow. I went Elton John's farewell. I think that was last year. That was beautiful.
I've never been to one.
Really?
Ever?
I've had no desire. I don't know why.
I haven't been in a long time.
Even like local music? Or are you talking big ones?
I have no desire to go to a concert. I don't know what it is. It's like, okay, I'm gonna sit there and
Listen to music.
Yeah, I can do it in my car. I don't know.
There you go.
All right, we'll have to educate you. You have to come see me and the Bellas in our concert.
We're learning all kinds of stuff about each other today, aren't we, on this new lightning round?
All right.
Netflix or Amazon Prime? What do you prefer?
Oh.
I'm going to go with Netflix.
I might actually go with Amazon. I think majority I watch is on Amazon. I have like all of them now.
Being the old fogey that I am, I just learned how to use Netflix.
Oh, okay.
yay.
It's on the remote.
My kids got me this thing I got to talk into and it doesn't recognize my voice. But anyways, my wife's like, you have to watch The Diplomat. You have to watch Blacklist. And she puts it on for me.
You're
and then
watching
makes
the
me...
Yellowstone series, though, but
Yes.
that's on Amazon
Yeah.
Prime. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I like Yellowstone, too.
1883,
I have a Yellowstone.
1923.
I have a
Watch them
Yellowstone
all.
shirt. Okay.
Loves that bell.
Yeah.
You win Powerball tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
What's the first thing you purchase?
I probably wouldn't purchase anything. I'd invest for my kids' future.
You have to make a purchase. Well, that's
to
other
make a
stuff.
purchase?
Yeah,
So
you
you
have to make a purchase. Splurge.
Then a Bentayga.
What's that?
My husband won't buy me one. A Bentley Bentayga. It's
it's a
an
car.
SUV.
Fancy car.
It's an
Fancy
SUV.
car. Okay.
It's a fancy SUV.
Oh. I'm going to go boring. Probably a house. Or musical equipment.
That's
for my
not
band.
boring.
Yeah.
I got
Not
the best
boring, but-
answer
sorry,
ever.
like
What? A yacht?
responsible.
No, a jet. I hate airports. I hate TSA lines.
So can I tell you, I flew for the first time private recently.
We can't be friends.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. No lines, you're right.
Special.
Oh, my God. All right. Favorite pizza topping? I'm starting with you this time.
Ooh, favorite pizza topping. Just one topping, or like the flavor of the pizza? Now you got me. Like
One
they all
topping.
have cheese. Oh, we don't do one topping where I come
Come on,
from.
we
That's
got to stay
weird.
on time.
I know. I'm panicking. I don't know how.
All right, I'll come back to you.
Bacon. I'm
Bacon,
gonna go
okay,
bacon.
good.
I'm a margarita only, so I'll say basil because it needs to be on top
There
of the
you go.
margarita.
All right.
I know what yours is.
No, we've known each other for 10 minutes and she already knows. What is it?
Anchovies.
That's right, anchovy. Everyone's like, oh, right?
I don't mind a little bit of
All right.
the salty.
Dunkin's or Starbucks?
Oh, Starbucks, Dunkin'.
Yeah, Starbucks.
No.
I don't drink coffee though. That's why
Oh,
it's
you don't?
Starbucks.
Okay.
No, I get like the refreshers and stuff.
I'm simple. I like
I
Dunkin'.
do drink
don't
coffee,
like-
and that's why I choose Starbucks. Sorry, Dunkin's. They're not a sponsor.
If you had the choice, would you go see a play in a live theater?
Yeah.
or a comedy show?
Comedy.
Dang, that's hard. I like both so much. But play? Damn, a comedy's good. Depends. It depends. I can't do it.
Oh my God, you're so non-committal today.
I know.
It's not that I'm non-committal. Do you know how much I love these things that you're asking? I think you underestimate my level of like love for things.
Do I got to
like theater and comedy
Do I
and
have
music.
to step up my list for next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you had to ask music, I would have been music hands down. But theater and comedy, they're both like they're equal second.
Okay. I'm going to say comedy because I like to laugh. I'm
Right?
inclined
It's
to.
good for the soul.
There's great comedy theater out there. So like, how do you?
All right, the final question.
Okay.
What's your favorite ride at the amusement park?
Oh my gosh, I don't really do rides, so my kids make fun of me. I'm gonna go with like the Haunted Mine or Mansion or anything that's not really a ride. I hate rides.
Okay.
Yeah, I have wicked bad motion sickness.
Me
so
too.
I can't do a lot of rides
I think
either.
the three of us should go together because
We'll go hang out by the food stand.
But I do love like really scary haunted stuff. Ones that make me like scream like I think I'm gonna die because then I laugh right afterwards. It's a whole like.
Is that even a ride though? Like Scream Fest?
Yeah.
I love going through the.
So
like
my wife's a
those.
Disney fanatic, and when my children were little, we have a Disney Vacation Club membership. I was the guy that would go and get the fast passes and wait in the line so everyone else could enjoy. Everyone else could enjoy it. But my favorite ride, and it's a sentimental thing, is the bumper cars because my kids, when they were little, they used to like, let's get Dad.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that was my favorite.
Have you
ride.
tried them recently though?
No.
So I did. I'll tell you, it doesn't feel the same when you're back as you are when you're younger.
True, that is true. I went on very recently and did exactly what you said your children did to my brother-in-law. It was great. He nearly got airborne. They got some new, really aggressive bumper car things out
Do they really?
there. It
I'll
was
have to
great
try.
fun.
All right. Well, the three of
Me
us.
and his two sons. Just
I guess the three of us and our significant others are going to Canopy Lake.
Yep.
Anytime.
I've never been.
You've never been?
I've
It's
never been
right
yet.
here.
It's right down the road from where I live, but I haven't been yet.
On that note, let's roll up Mel.
All right, let's do it.
How did I do on my time today?
You did pretty good.
Yeah?
We went
Wanna
over a
do the
little because of the
sponsors
lightning
one
round, but I was
time?
having fun.
Want to go through the sponsors one time?
Yeah, do the sponsors one more time. Lightning round.
Oh, sorry.
Lightning round of sponsors.
Lightning round of sponsors.
Give them double.
All right, our sponsors, McLennan Real Estate, Century 21, Marsan and Son Construction, EIS Investigation and Gun Training, the Doug Mercurio Law Office, and Prime Real Estate. Borelli's Deli. I don't know what the sandwich of the day is, but I'm assuming it's great.
I guarantee whatever it is, it's amazing. So head on down there tomorrow and get it. And get in early because they generally sell out way before
Do they?
the cutoff time. Oh, yeah. they're so
Tomo
good.
and Shaken Seafood, Clear Path for Veterans, New England, AFC Urgent Care, Pleasant Valley Landscape, that's my guys. Hats off to my crew for doing a great job. Stacks and Par 28, Loaded, the Zanni Pesce Law Office.
Those are my guys. Shut up.
Yeah.
And before we head out, a sincere get well to our friend Tom Duggan.
Yeah.
We wish nothing but the best for him. And we're hoping he gets back on his feet and gets in here real soon. But in the meantime, you folks are stuck with me.
Mel says
Mel
go
says
home.
go home. Let's go home already.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.